5 Questions with LeRoy Butler. Now, here's Tom Silverstein.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to 5 Questions with LeRoy Butler, the playoff edition. We've been waiting a long time. It's been a long season. COVID withstanding, you and I have made it to the playoffs. We were that good that we qualified for the playoffs. And now it's time to see what the Packers are made of with a divisional round game at home against the LA Rams Saturday at 3:30. What was your initial reaction to that, finding out that it would be the Rams?
Well, I wasn't surprised. Unless something drastic happened, it was going to be the Bears, or Tampa or the Rams. I thought if it was the Rams, that's an opponent that you don't normally play a whole lot. But I also looked at how similar these teams are. They pretty much run the same offense, and Sean McVay and Matt LaFleur know each other. They're just so similar. The only difference is their defense is number one. So here's a number one defense and the number one offense going up against each other. So now I know we've always said this, Tom, defense wins championships. So it's one of those things where somebody's got to give at some point. So I just think the Green Bay Packers have earned the right to have that bye week and get healthy. And they had a signing recently, right?
Yeah. Well, yes, they have signed right tackle Jared Valdir, veteran who sat out all of this year and came back and played for the Indianapolis Colts and started at left tackle for him last week. Before we get to him, let's talk about the Rams and what kind of a matchup they bring and what their injury situation is. So what we know is we don't know for sure who their quarterback will be. It could be John Wolford, who started against Seattle and suffered a stinger, or it could be Jared Goff, who was the starter, broke his thumb and dislocated his thumb, sat out a week, and then came back and relieved Wolford. And, did okay. I mean, I think it was 9 for 19 for 155 yards and a TD. Surely didn't look like himself. Which way do you think McVay goes?
Well, Jared Goff. Wolford is not beating Green Bay in Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, I guess you can't say that because the Jets beat him.
Yeah, so, Goff hasn't either. So
right. So I just think your better chance is going to be with Goff. I mean, you're in a position now that you're in the second round of the playoffs. We never had two game plans for two different quarterbacks. We just prepare our system, and it is what it is. Because the defense, the Packer defense, know the system, how to defend it. But if Cooper Kupp, what I think they say he's going to play, he's a big deal because he's a move guy. He's a slot guy. He's a matchup problem. So Sullivan is going to have his hands full, but I think it'll be Jared Goff.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know what the conditions are going to be. It doesn't sound like it's going to be that bad. It sounds like it'll be, very low 30s, maybe high 20s at kickoff. And the biggest question, with the cold would be Jared Goff's grip on the football. But, I honestly don't think that game time temperatures, that particular temperature is going to affect anybody that much. So assuming it is Goff, do they just play the run and dare him to beat them?
Well, in this offense, they have a matchup just like the Packer offense. They actually have a 17, Robert Woods. Again, I think Cooper Kupp is a very, very one of the top slot receivers. But Cam Akers, Florida State project, I've been seeing this game for a while. That kid had 28 carries over 130 yards, and he is just like Aaron Jones. They don't throw the ball to him a whole lot, but he runs those cutback draws and those stretch plays, and they want to control the clock. Their whole thing is about controlling possessions.
Yeah.
because they can always fall back on the number one defense.
Right. In that Seattle game, I thought that Seattle played fine against the run. If they would have been able to score, then they would have won that game. But they couldn't score against the Rams defense. So let's switch to that side. Just to follow up on last thing on their offense, Cooper Kupp, you mentioned, he has bursitis in his knee, and it blew up on him during the game. And they got to get that inflammation down. If they can't, then he won't play. But I think they're counting on him being there. They also lost their left guard, and he's questionable too with an Achilles. So we'll see about that. Okay, on to the biggest matchup you could find. I mean, this is essentially the number one scoring offense. Packers were tied for that against the number one scoring defense.
Yeah.
Boy, something's got to give there. That's a great matchup.
It really is. I mean, Aaron Donald is amazing. That guy's he reminds me, his get off reminds me of Howie Long, that first step. He's just so strong. I mean, he's just so strong. But Leonard Floyd, man, they got him from Chicago. That guy's having a very good year as well.
He is.
So if they just rush forward, their secondary, obviously with the top corner in the league, Jalen Ramsey, another Florida State guy. He will follow Devontae Adams all over the field.
Yeah.
I think go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're right. He will follow him all over the field. Regarding Aaron Donald, so he left the Seattle game with reportedly rib cartilage injury.
Yeah.
So
you can shoot that up, though.
They will shoot.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that?
Nah, because I'm scared of needles.
Okay.
I am taking the vaccine, though.
Have you had a rib problem at all? Have you ever played with a rib problem?
Yeah, I have.
It's painful, isn't it?
The needle's not real big, but
yeah. But it's a painful injury if you don't.
Yeah, it is. But if you could get it numbed up and put on like the rib case thing, it's just breathing. Because what you don't want is, you can't really take a deep breath in that cold weather. You're tired.
Right.
But I think he'll play. Him and Cooper Kupp, they're going to play. I mean, everybody at this part of the year want to go to the Super Bowl. And if they're a little banged up, they're going to play. Okay,
so let's go to what you brought up earlier, which was the signing of Jared Valdere.
Yeah.
Now, there's two reasons they might have signed Valdere. One is that they're not confident that Rick Wagner is going to be able to play. He suffered a knee injury. It looked terrible in that Bears game. He got fallen on from behind and looked like should have been a really serious injury, but he's able to finish the game. I'm guessing that he's probably not 100%, and there's some question as to whether he could play. So Valdere might have to step in. Now, here's my question to you. Would you consider moving Valdir to left tackle and Billy Turner to back to right guard, so that you have your three best guys on the interior to block Aaron Donald?
Oh, boy. Well, that's definitely where the double team has to go first. Sometimes they'll move him around, though, Tom. They
do move him around a lot, and we're going to show that in X's and O's.
Yeah, they move him around, but I think Billy Turner, they could put him at guard. I would feel better at that. But whoever's there, you're going to get help. But at the same time, I mean, this guy's been splitting double teams, and he kind of gets on the corner of you and kind of shortens the pocket for Aaron Rodgers. That's why they want him to step up into Aaron Donald. So Aaron Rodgers got to really get the ball away this week quickly.
Yeah, and the thing about him is if you single team him, boy, he smells that. That's like, giving a bear some meat, because he just is relentless to the quarterback. I don't know how teams, I guess there are times you have to leave them one-on-one, but wow, you better not do that a lot, huh?
Well, the Packers, I think, should go empty backfield sets. I think that's what really gave Chicago a lot of problems. But MVS is going to be wide open. It's going to be wide open. down the middle, empty backfield set. If you do that, now you got Leonard Floyd singled up, and you're going to have Donald probably singled because you got 4 to block 5. So it depends on where Donald is. He'll probably get the double team, but now you got to block Leonard Floyd by himself, whoever it is by himself, and then that ball has to come out. Yeah. I think if you do that, it's some damage you can do. But if you got to move Devontae around too, Tom. You can't just have him at X or at Z. Put him in a bunch, have him do some jet sweeps, moving around.
Yeah.
And I don't think I do have a question for you though. Yeah. You remember Mike McCarthy in Seattle? He wouldn't throw towards Richard Sherman.
Yes.
LaFleur
that was in that first meeting. I think it was like the first game of the year or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, he'll throw at Ramsey if he's on 17 because 17 is getting the ball. Devontae Adams getting the ball.
Yeah. This is a game where you have to get him the ball because this is a really good secondary. So don't you think you just go best on best?
Oh, no question. Yeah. I mean, if he's in bump and run, then the advantage is Devontae Adams. I mean, that's just a fact because he has the best feet. Now, if he's off like 6-7 yards, the advantage go to Jalen Ramsey because he has the long arms, he has these long legs, and the guy is just so cat quick, and you don't know if he's in cover 2, 4, 1, you don't know, and he just can really get his hands on a ball if it's not thrown perfectly.
Yeah, and the thing about the Rams, and from what I saw in the Seattle game, it's especially true, they are so confident in their 4-man rush that they're going to drop 7 guys, especially on long yardage. So you better be able to get some run yards on them. They drop those 7 guys back, and then you got that 4-man rush. There's nowhere to go.
Right. And see, that's where you got to really go through your progression and hit your check down. I mean, your check down, they'll give you 8 or 9 yards on a check down. And then next thing you know, you can get an opportunity down the field. But you got Matt LaFleur has to create matchups. You know what I'm saying? That's why I would go empty backfield sets or motion the back out empty. If a linebacker goes out there, that's where the ball goes. Yeah. But create these matchups to make these guys cover.
Yeah. And adding to all of this, too, is that the guys around Aaron Donald are pretty good, too. Michael Brockers is an excellent run defensive end. Sebastian Joseph Day is kind of an up-and-coming guy. Morgan Fox, I think he has like 5 or 6 sacks. So this isn't like a one-man team.
Oh, no question. It's a very good defense. But they have some areas that every now and then you can exploit. But if you make any mistakes, they always capitalize.
So as you're looking at the matchup and you're thinking, okay, they're going up against the number 1 defense, the offense is. How do you play this defensively? Do you play it conservatively and just make sure you keep them out of the end zone? Or do you get aggressive and try to get turnovers and help out your offense that way?
I think if you're the Packer defense, you got to be aggressive this week. You really do. I mean, you've stopped, 2 of the better running backs, Montgomery and Henry. So you don't want Cam Akers to come in here and put up 170 on you. So you definitely have to stop the run and make Jared Goff with that frozen thumb, make him beat you. I mean, that's where to go. And they'll give these jet sweeps. They'll give them the Woods. They'll give them the Cooper Kupp. I mean, they do a lot of movement. Again, they've defended this. They see this offense every week. Yep. The same thing the Packers run, but they run it a little bit different than the Packers. The Packers want to be a little bit more efficient. They really want to get the ball out to Cooper Kupp, on the perimeter. If he can break a tackle, there's your big play.
Yeah, they like to line up their receivers tight, very narrow, and then pass out of it. Sometimes they run out of it, sometimes they pass out of it. We see that from LaFleur, but a little less from LaFleur than we do from McVay.
Yeah, it's a lot of play action. When they play action, they're looking for Robert Woods deep, man-to-man with somebody.
Yeah.
So you got to be disciplined.
they need Jair Alexander to play the way he did in LA. Remember that when he was
Oh,
a rookie?
yeah, I remember that.
I
Yep.
think he had 5 pass breakups.
Yep.
Yeah. So, are there any other matchups that you're thinking about as they go into this game?
Well, I will say this. I got to go back to the head coaches for a minute because every time you play the San Francisco 49ers, it's a lot of, something there. His brother is there. He went to school with the defensive coordinator. Atlanta, he was there. He kind of, knows some of those guys. And then when you play Tennessee, you knew some of those guys. But the Rams, knowing Sean McVay and knowing what he thinks, I don't think we'll hear one of these. Because I think the first time Matt LaFleur coached against one of his mentors or colleagues, it was kind of overwhelming for him last year.
Yeah.
This year is different. He's past all that now. So he knows what these guys are thinking on, with the Rams, and they kind of know him a little bit. So that's one of the biggest matchups, how these coaches coach against each other.
It's an interesting aspect to that, too, because when LaFleur was with McVay, he was the offensive coordinator. So he had some say. When he was in Atlanta, he was quarterback's coach and had 2 guys ahead of him, and Shanahan was the mastermind. And
Right.
I don't think anybody challenged him that much because he was so good at what he did. But my understanding is that LaFleur challenged McVay a lot, and they had some real knockdown, drag out discussions on plays and things. And I think that probably made Matt LaFleur a better coach.
Oh, no question about it. I mean, you got to know if this offense works, and this offense does work. And you just need disciplined guys, and you got to have a running game. That's why Cam Akers shutting him down, him and Brown. You got to shut those guys down. So to put, Jared Goff in a position to where he has to throw the ball 35 times to have a chance to win.
Yeah, and play to your strengths. Play to Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, Robert Tonyan. Those are your strengths. So we'll see how well he's able to do that. Last year in the big game, he lost to his mentor, Shanahan. Now he gets a chance to kind of get some revenge on McVay. So we will see. Before we go to your sponsors, just want to remind people that we will go live before the game at 2:30 p.m. We'll be there to analyze everything and give you more previews, updates on what's happened during the week. So be sure you join us there, both on JS Online and Packers News and on LeRoy's Facebook page.
Yeah, and my prediction.
Almost forgot.
Yeah, well, I got you. I'm going to go Packers. They're going to be so rested. I'm going to Packers 30-19.
You know why I forgot the prediction? Because I already knew what it was.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's all they're the best team. I mean, come on.
Okay.
And they got the MVP quarterback, and they got 4 All-Pros. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think we just use the same prediction thing every week, don't we? We just change the name of the opponent.
In my head, I'm thinking if they average 30 and average only 19, they're going to the Super Bowl and win it.
Yeah.
So I would stay on message. Matt LaFleur taught me that. Stay on message. Don't let all this media stuff like Tom Silverstein get in your heads.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're terrible that way. Anyway, you got some sponsors.
Yeah.
Hit us up.
Yeah, my first is my Game Day Brats. You can go to GameDayBrats.com. Everybody will be tailgating at home. I think they're actually going to let like 6,000 people, I heard, into the game.
Yes.
So people will be tailgating there. Ivanhoe's Pub and Eatery down in Racine. If you want to get curbside or in, I mean, they're doing a great job. I appreciate them all year. Pick and Save, of course. They've been doing fantastic things. And if you have a young man or a young lady dealing with bullying, it's the best bully book you can read with them. Again, frankieswreathcoat.com if you want to get a wreath. We actually, our neighbor wants to get another one. I don't know why, but she's in love with these wreaths because they're handmade and they last forever. And the Jewelry Center, shoptjc.com. If you're looking to get married or you want, you can actually go on there and design your own ring. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And last but not least is the leapspirits.com. Yesterday, the 11th was the launch that the Leap Vodka is in stores. And if you go to a store and they don't have it, make sure you ask the store direct, hey, come on, how can you not have this vodka? I mean, they're flying off the shelf. Well, no, they're leaping off the shelves.
No.
As a matter of fact, if you look at Tom, it's right across as you look at him, his right shoulder right there, as we're looking at you, Tom's left, our right, there is a bottle of vodka.
It's half empty because I need that to get through this show.
Well, thanks a lot, guys. Stay tuned for we're going to do X's and O's and show you some plays as well, and we'll talk to you before the game.